Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and everything and amazing Propagandacast with me, your host from Pearl Dane, the one, the only master of propaganda, here of like defender of the fallen, and here with my co-host Basil the Kitty Cat, slung across my shoulders, across my neck as well there. So, off here to 1v1 on Langraskaya in the north is Skeletron, fighting for America, freedom, democracy, the American way. Here with armor, mechanized, and urban assault. Straight into mechanized. This is a big mechanized play with mechanized groups. 7.6 with Shermans, mortar half tracks, cavalry rifle, and combined arms. In the south, it is Caosak. Fighting here for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland. Here with the 2nd Panzerdivision with Lightning War featuring G43s, tactical movement, relief infantry, Tiger tanks, and the Stuka close air support. Double Grenadier versus Rifle Squad and Dart Truck. And as always, a big hearty thanks to my patrons, reporters, champions, heroes, one and all. Without them and their glorious support, the Propagandacast would simply not be possible. So big thanks to all those. Other people can join their rogue ranks by pledging on Patreon themselves, or they can donate by PayPal. Links in the description. Finding, commenting, liking, sharing, subscribing helps out a bit as well there. So, off to the race we are here. The Dart Trucks out here for Skeletron alongside some infantry, racing forwards for freedom and democracy, exploring the boundaries of the front line. 2nd Rifle Squad there on the way. 3rd Grenadiers for Caosak. More infantry builds starting to become more common with Wehrmacht players. They'll go for 4 Grenadiers. Maybe later on they'll go for machine guns, but to start out with, they just focus on a lot of troops there to hit the opponent back hard. So, fan facts then, these Rifle Squad coming up. They grab these in few point with the rear echelons. Moving up here in the centre slowly. West side there, Dart Truck moving in there. 3rd Grenadiers almost there for Caosak, and there we go. Rifle Squad sneaking up there in the east. In the centre there, Grenadiers are not quite on the point. They imagine Kawasaki intend to be on the point, but sometimes you click on it and then they either just don't count as being on the point. They actually slightly move towards the cover that's close to the point, and then, you know, do nothing. So I can certainly emphasise with them here. But anyways, and he's got Grenadiers here versus Rifle Squad there. Moving up in the centre here. West side here, Rifle Squad with Dart Truck. They're waiting a 50 caliber before they move in, as otherwise it just does nothing. Bit of skirmishing, Grenadiers being pushed back, and there you go. 50 cal is on the way for Dart Truck there for Skeletron. And the east side here, Rifle Squad watching the road for any German movements. Rifle Squad moving westwards here, 50 cal almost ready. Pioneers on the west could be in some serious trouble there, as Skeletron will unleash the fury of democracy upon them. 4th Grenadiers for Caosak and the German army, die Deutsche Wehrmacht. Got the Pioneers moving in, holding up the Grenadiers to support here. 50 cal almost done. I imagine Skeleton's going to be pushing for the turn. There goes Caosak, reading the situation here, thinking he can maybe stall up in the west and the east. Goes straight for the car upon here, diving through the centre. Skeletron has left his centre well wide open. In the west here, Grenadiers there, clashing with Rifle Squad and the Dart Truck there. Ground the point here, looks like they can try and flank around here. Not bad idea, but in the centre, Caosak keeps up the advance here. Skeletron is going to try and counter, I think, marching his opponent's carve point, but also moving to defend his own. But there you go. He just dives off. He doesn't even try to fight an engagement. In fact, he's going to look to flank up behind Skeleton's forces here. And Skeletron, I think, makes the correct read on the situation and realises they're going to try and panther past the Dart Truck. So begins to hold it back here. So Caosak, hearing that, begins moving in to deal with the Rifle Squad here instead around the car pond there. Heavy disruptive opening here from both sides, but Caosak is definitely getting ahead on it thanks to his more infantry build here. Grenadiers have been caught here. Lieutenant is out for Skeletron. Freedom and democracy here with the 5th Armoured Division. On the west side here, we've got Grenadiers with the Rifle Squad there. In the east here, we've got the Grenadiers with the Echelons dropping Carl there in the dirt. Dart Truck moving in there, 51. Oh, not 51 kills, but 1 kill there for his name. For some reason, I read that number. Then, yes, that's the kills. Good job, Brain. Good job. On the west side, they're going straight for the western fuel pond here now. Suddenly, the tables has been turned on Caosak. 50 cal flying up for Skeletron, freedom and democracy. Skeletron is a very, very big mechanized player. I think he's currently somewhere close to the top 3, if not in the top 3 right now with the Americans, simply again by just focusing so heavily on this commander. He is a man who knows his mechanization. In a sense, at least he knows the stuff he lacks. He's not huge in actually mechanizing his infantry directly. And we got Basil there, apparently deciding he no longer wants to rest on my neck. Now the trick is for him to get down without knocking down something. There you go, doing a 180 turn there on my shoulders. An agile kitty for the most part. There we go. Cat rifle out there for Skeletron. The cat has left the shoulders. Can add the Thompsons there to the cat rifle, which he's most likely gonna do there. Lieutenant here was the Pioneers. The Pioneers are outgunned here, but Skeletron's frontline forces here. 7th Motorized Rifle Company striking hard here at the Germans. 6th Panzer Grenadier Company. The Western Rifle Squad almost rolled out here. Caosak unleashes the full fury of Deutschland upon them. In the east, the guy in pursuit of a Rifle Squad Lieutenant trying to catch the Rifle Squad here, but I think he realised if he dives too deeply in there, there's a chance he instead gets whacked as well. There you go, heavy fire there. 5th guy at the ready as well. Suddenly Kawasaki is now the one on the back foot here as Skeletron set up a fairly strong cordon here against his territories locking down there. Caosak responds to this menace. We're going for the Granatenwerfer. It werfs Granaten. Gonna give us the dog truck there. Halfway done there with the Granatenwerfer. In the south you got Grenadiers Pioneers moving in here. Some intense pressure between Skeletron and Kawasaki in the early game. I imagine here Skeletron will be soon pushing for the Stuart light tank here to put more pressure on Caosak. We'll of course have to go for a Pack 40. In theory, if he had the munitions, he could try for the Panzer Grenadiers and Panzer Strikes down, but he of course has to spend munitions on other things to deal with Skeletron stuff, so he will have to go for Pack 40. He could also try for multiple armoured cars, but I would say on a map like this, in particular with the current situation, trying to use armoured cars to knock out the Stuart light tank is going to be a bit ambitious. Not impossible, but, you know, ambitious. Mortified, they're doing some damage here to Skeletron on the west side. Their fuel pump once more about to fall into the hands of America. In the east, we've got troops dying forwards, but then backwards as Skeletron counterattacks here. The cavalry riflemen with their grease guns and the Thompsons unleash a furious fusillade into the rears of Kawasak's Grenadiers. Stuart light tank there for Skeletron. Freedom and democracy racing through the centre here. Caosak with the armoured car first here. Mort with 2 kills to its name, but there you go, striking straight at him. Caosak about to just have next to nothing left of the map here. Skeletron dominating the map right now, just for sheer aggression, fury, and faith in corporate interests. Cavalry rifling up there, mortifying away there. 2 kills, close to veterans who won. 2-2 out here for Caosak, but the Stuart is right around the corner. For Skeletron, freedom, liberty. Armoured car to push straight for the dart truck here. We got a quick step on it there as he dives out with that dart truck to avoid getting it turned into a oversized, burnt out toaster. Then he's focused out the cavalry. We've got the armoured coming as well. His Stuart light tank goes out. We've got an ambulance here for Skeletron. Caosak is with a back against the wall, but he believes in the Reich. Armoured car pursuing the rifle squad. They're tearing into with the autocannon and coaxial machine gun. Doing his best here, but it's going to fall a bit short. Bunker up there for Caosak with medics in it, but he will need that Pack 40 soon. We got the rifle squad moving in here. We got both fuel points under control of Skeletron, which is going to mean he can probably pretty fast take towards armor here soon versus Caosak, and that's going to be a very bad place to be in for Caosak currently. He doesn't even have a Pack 40 out, so he needs to get some territory back here versus his opponent fast and crucially deny Skeletron some of all this fuel he's currently getting. Stuart there's going at it here versus the Germans. 1 kill already there. Pack 40 for Caosak, very much as expected, as anticipated in the face of what is currently being unleashed upon him. Ground lost on point of the Grenadier, armoured car on the move there. Phew. Pack 40 halfway done. Samex on the west here. In the east we got the reactions at the ready. Back here reinforcing, a bit of healing there. No upgrade yet for the Grenadiers. No Gewehr 43s, no MG 42s. Meanwhile there, Skeletron lining up for the next big assault against the Germans. To push their way to Berlin. Which way's Berlin anyways? South. Great! Still moving out there for Skeletron. Pack 40 is ready in the centre. We got going to be tactical rifle squad, the Stuart light tank. Cav rifle moving in as well. Pushing back the Grenadiers. A few shots here in the west. Pioneers moving in, engaging the rifle squad out in the open here. As a side note, mechanized companies become a lot more popular with American players in general as of late. Again, it used to have a big popularity back when you could also get Bulls of Blades and the Shermans. Then it kind of got forgotten, but there's definitely been a rise overall in American players going for mechanized again. As the 7.6 Sherman is great, the cavalry rifle are great, the dart truck is nice, of course. Combined arms, if you remember to use it, is also pretty nice. It is overall still a very solid commander. Anyways, more to their fine way here at the Americans. Rifle squad, they're close to being wiped out. Almost got them there. Pack 40 here, opening up the Stuart light tank. Punches cleanly through the armor there. On the west side, Lieutenant with a 5th car there, advancing up here on Kawasak's west flank. Once more threatening the fuel supply here for the German army in this sector. Back here, we got the Major for Skeletron again, looking to, turn this fuel lead into a tank lead, which is definitely the right decision to make here. Of course, for Caosak, this is going to add a serious burden on his shoulder once the tanks start rolling out there from the front line there to the front line. We got some G43s versus form. That's a good deal versus the Americans. The G43s help your Grenadiers fight much more efficiently versus the rifle squads. So, thumbs up there to Caosak. More to there, pushing back the 5th cal heavy. Got Veterans 1, 4 kills, half HP here for Caosak. Up here, Trick reinforcing healing. Stuart could do some repairs. Pack there in trouble. Grenadier pushing ahead here for Deutschland. There you go, almost got a wipe. There we go. Wipe on Skeletron. Great kill there for Caosak. Definitely gives him the infantry advantage now with 4 squads versus 3. Not a massive one, but you know. And so, oh well, never mind there. Skeletron just took care of that. Punch Grenadier for Caosak. Thumbs up to that. I think that is an excellent addition. That said, he's still got some time before he can even take up. He was against Skeletron. Is at this rate going to be fairly close to the Sherman. I imagine he's going to go for the 1 and 5, the regular Sherman first, simply because it has high explosive shells, which are great versus the infantry. So it's not like he has to fear a lot in terms of armor. Otherwise, he would go, I imagine, for the 76 Sherman. It, of course, still can. It's not like it's bad versus infantry, but the regular one with the high explosive shells right now would be the optimal choice here for Skeletron versus Caosak. He could also go for the Scott, but Skeletron, interesting enough, while he definitely likes, you know, playing Americans with the tanks a lot, he's not big on the Scott. Oh, that was a nice steel hand granate. Now he definitely has to lead here with 2 squads versus 4. That's great. He does replace the Lieutenant. Thumbs up there. Worth noting, most American players never replace the Lieutenant or their Captain if they lose it, but they're actually just really good as a base unit since they get to start with a Thompson, which is really powerful. So, thumbs up to Skeletron. Good move there. Of course, he probably better if he had lost. And there you go, gets one of the Grenadiers. A heavy exchange of casualties on both sides. Almost got the rough squad, got artillery, I think, making things difficult. Could mean the Pentagon on the retreat path here, I think, to threaten a wipe. But I think Kawasak's too preoccupied elsewhere to appreciate. Nope, never mind. He might just be able to manage it. There you go, another weapon Skeletron. Like, the losses are just piling up here on both sides. Jar being caught with the armored car here, and the pack narrowly misses it. But in the end, the armored car does the job in the southeast. Stood flank up behind Kawasak's front line. And in the center here, the Grenadiers have pushed for the car pump once more, but they're within reach here of Skeletron's forces, who counterattack furiously for America. Bomb grenade off there, blowing apart a bit of a fence and some shrubberies, but nothing else. Stuart here diving right through here, fearlessly, causing a mess in Kawasak's center. Pack the Lancer Grenadier in the Stuart light tank here. Got Lieutenant Cavalry moving up this Stuart light tank, by the way. So a fair bit of service there. And he says the M3 Stuart, which did not have slip frontal armor, but later, of course, would receive that. There's also the Scott, of course, which had a 75mm howitzer mounted on it. And finally, there's also the Kangaroo or Jackalope version, which is basically used by the British, but was basically sort of like an armored personnel carrier version of the Stuart light tank, where they basically just removed the turret and sort of, you know, sort of like mini Kangaroos. We know it from Cambridge 1. Fun fact. Another Panzer Grenadier squad there. 2 thumbs up to Caosak. Panzer Grenadiers are great. And certainly, yeah, some more infantry pressure. Skeletron still has like 1 squad. I imagine he's going to go for the Sherman. He could, of course, go up for the 76mm Sherman, but I think again he wants like the one with the 75mm gun and the high explosive shells here to put pressure on Kawasak's infantry. But again, he could go for the 76mm Sherman. It does look like he's going to go for that now. Okay, there we go, 105mm. Again, not that there's anything wrong with the other one, but I think he needs something that can add some surge pressure here to Kawasak's infantry, in particular now with the 2 Panzer Grenadier squads versus a Skeletron, who's certainly a bit short in infantry overall. Again, another push for the car pont here. Caosak wielding his Panzer Grenadiers with excellence. Stuart Light 10 at 6 kills, Veteran 2. 5th cal sitting up here. Sherman halfway done. Caosak there now with a bit more initiative. The Skeletron is quick to exploit it. Quick! Just like push for any openings he can here versus Skeletron. But that said, he's about to get hit by Sherman. He's bringing another Pack 40. Obviously, I imagine fairly aware that in terms of like the armor race, he is not favoured here. And of course, this is probably what Skeletron right now is betting on. It's just, you know, that Sherman really turned the entire thing around again for him. And so, of course, Kawasak's bringing 2 Pack 40 to try and ensure it doesn't happen. Oh, the mind games. But there you go. M43 Sherman out here for Skeletron. Adding the 5th cal there to it. Lieutenant falling back here. On the east side, we got the reactions holding up here. More cavalry riflemen, very good. The Sherman had a lot of neat features. We actually made it like a fairly safe tank to ride in compared to like other tanks. Like, you know, you had like, you know, spring-loaded hatches, meaning like, you know, if you need to get out the tanks fast, you could get out of it very fast. That's probably like one of the major innovations there. Plus, it had, I think it was water jacketed ammunition. Basically, a setup there so like the ammunition was a very unlikely setup there after sort of say the initial mishaps there with the early Shermans, making it that way very tough to just cook off the ammunition. This along with some other innovations just made it like, you know, probably like the safest tank to ride in, except for the fact it was kind of bigger than other tanks, but you know, crew survivability was, you know, fairly decent in it compared to like a lot of other tanks, especially Soviet ones. But there you go, got the 2-2 here with the Sherman. Great kills there for Skeletron. Stuart, there's a lot of trouble here. Pan's there pinned down, and he's going to crush them down through. You can see the Skeletron is quite fearless with the re-attacks there. Good use of smoke there, good dives, but there you go. Stuart knocked out there, abandoned even. But he can't sit around there to try and deal with it because he might risk losing the Sherman, which would absolutely not be worth it. Cav Rifle, they're diving through here, but they're getting focused down. Caosak does not want anything to do with the Stuart Light 10, then just knocks it out. Cav Rifle about to get wiped out here by Caosak there. Heavy losses on Skeletron's side there. He fights fearlessly, but also certainly a bit recklessly. Pack 40 hit caught by the 5th Cal there, taking some amount of losses. Still, Skeletron has the victory point, though. Kawasaki in there. Go Pioneers push back. Another Cav Rifle squad out here for Skeletron. More Thompsons being added. Do we have any tech here? Yes, we do. May have to consider getting out some Stugs fast up deal with the Shermans. Fix up the L1 here. But the losses for Skeletron are quite immense here, but he's definitely pushing back Caosak despite all of this. But there you go. Pan's going to give it a strong gets engagement. Cav Rifle here. And the Cav Rifle, they're definitely in the top spot. And we'll have to fall back here in the face of Kawasak's wall of German will. In the west here, straight for the fuel point there again. Fix up the Sherman, almost got it good to go. More to continue to be a good investment here for Caosak and Deutschland. Gunnies on the western victory point here, back at base for Skeletron. Not much further transpiring. Meanwhile, on the center of the Panthers are busy there. Might want to pull them back for some reinforcements. Sherman is almost good to go for Skeletron. Before the 7.6 Sherman, they did consider upgrading it with the 3-inch gun from the M10, but the issue was rather the turret back then wasn't big enough, and they basically first had to come up with like a bigger turret before they could like, you know, fit in a gun to like make it work there. At which point, you know, they just came up with the 7.6mm gun instead there. So little fun fact there about Sherman development. We'd like to see some war usage after the war as well there with a 105mm gun. I believe that was known as the Super Sherman. That's a fun sight note there. But there you go, Cav Rifle diving up behind the Pack 40s here, crippling the crews there in a matter of moments and executing them. No mercy here by Skeletron. He is an aggressive player. Really aggressive. Whoops, sorry about that, mouse slipped a bit. Good to see here, and of course, quite tough here for Kawasaki. But there you go, getting some wipes here again. Thumbs up there to Skeletron and his armoured assaults. And we got the Gunning pushed back here. Unable then to get the fuel point back here from the Germans. Leaving Kawasaki once more in a tight spot. We got another reckless shot on the way there. I think Kawasaki's going to have to go for Stug here, but he may want to go for that Panther 4 after all. But as you might notice, Skeleton, despite some fairly heavy losses, is making those work for again just sheer aggression and firepower versus Caosak. But he is kind of trading, I think, fairly recklessly at times here. Which means if Caosak can just, you know, manage to keep a temper, you know, steady temper, he could slowly turn this around in favour of him. So Skeletron definitely needs to be a bit more mindful. But there you go. 7.6 was shown on the way for Skeletron. Thumbs up to that. Caosak does look like he's going to go for a Panther 4 here rather than a Stug 3G. Pushing for that western fuel point. Sherman being fixed up again. Almost good to go. And he's almost got that 76mm Sherman ready here for freedom and democracy. And the East Pioneers moving up here straight into the 50 cal. May give us the Grenadiers. High close shells being used into the Grenadiers. Good shot there on Friedrich. Heinz also dropping dead very rapidly here. We could see Hosting's a wipe here. Even artillery called in here by Skeletron. He is just fearless here. In the west here, Panthers versus Cav Rifle. Got the Sherman in as well there. Still armor here for Caosak. He may end up paying a fairly hefty price for stalling out for that Panther 4 run, just going for Stug to put back at those Shermans. In the east side, we got the 7.6 Sherman in here. Skeletron rides forwards. There we go, immediately drops one Pioneer, but there goes straight into the double packs. It's down to half health, moving in with the strength from the other side. Notice what he does here, by the way. Most players would have just, you know, backed off it, but he realized if he did that, he would just definitely lose the Sherman. Instead, he just drives ahead. They're trying to get past the Pack 44 and they get off another shot here. And again, he might still lose the Sherman, but with this move, he's more likely to have the Sherman survive there. So thumbs up there. Oh, he stopped up a bit too fast. He stopped up a bit too fast. If he'd gone a bit more there, he could actually, I think, had a chance to survive. Even then, he's doing intense damage to Kawasaki. The Grenadiers, Pack crews all being wiped again. Just the sheer aggressive drive. He's really carrying Skeletron far here versus Kawasaki, which is just, I don't think, entirely ready to deal with this. Like, Skeletron is fearless, and it's just, I think, a really good example of what aggressive gameplay can do for you as a player. Because I find a lot of players tend to, at times play very, very defensively or cautiously at times when they really just need to, get their fist deep into their opponent's face. And Skeletron definitely is very much more of a pattern type of guy in that regard. Pantherfolder's almost done here. Sherman gaining actually 2 there. Like, he's just fearlessly firing high explosions to his opponent's base. He's just trading, attacking, and once more, Caosak finds himself with the back to the wall in the first roughly 20 minutes of the game. Almost got a Grenadier wipe here. Well, there you go. Pantherfolder to the rescue. Narrowly survives. The Grenadiers, the Pantherfolds of the parties, take the price, pay the price. We got D for the features on the Pantherfolds. 5th cal there, unleashing torrents of lead into Kawasak's men. The Pantherfold dives off the Sherman. The sensitive Sherman, of course, got knocked out, so at least there's that going for him. He can soon go for another Sherman, but still Skeletron here needs to try and get that Sherman out of there before Caosak knocks it out, because otherwise he will struggle, I think, to maintain the other excellent act on gut there. Almost got the Pantherfold 2 with the Sherman, though. He's going to try for it. He's going to try for it. Oh, shot bounced. Pantherfold shot did not bounce. Really close call there. Really close call. Panther up in the cavalry rifle, missing though. Another Sherman there for Skeletron. Another 76. And there you go. He's going to try and make a run there for the Pack 40. Does get it, but there you go. Panther Grenadiers and Grenadiers en masse will absolutely punish Skeletron for this theft against the German state. Need to fix out that Panther 4 though. Grand back points here. Troops reinforcing, healing, rushing back and forth. Shermans are being repaired there. Panther 4 also dying repairs, and of course, unlike Skeletron, Kawasak's, Panzer crew needs to stay inside. They've been glued to the seats. Pioneers are going to have to do the work there.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
Troops are back reinforcing, healing. Punch going to use the cav rifleman.
The Krauts are at 200 points.
Close one there. The cav rifleman, the Thompson, the grease guns absolutely overwhelm the Pantherguns with the G for the freeze. And there we go, another Sherman ready here for Skeletron, freedom and democracy. The 5th Armored Division rides again. I think Kawasaki really needs to consider investing into a Stug though. Ein Sturmgeschütz. Near Ace behind the Sherman, switching back to high explosive shells. That Panthergun is called to retrieve 182 versus 126. I mean, Skeletron right now has a massive victory upon Nido Kawasaki, who's just furiously hanging on here. As Skeletron just keeps punching away. Sherman, there's the Grenadiers here, diving in, 5th cal almost done here. There may be no Brat Pit upgrades for the 7.6 Sherman. Clearly, Skeletron is not too concerned about that. I'm sure Brat Pit's trying to invite him into his fan club, but clearly Skeletron just isn't a big Brat Pit fan. Sherman out to flank here. The Panther got a Pack 40 ready to cover the flank. Those 2nd Pack 40s well here. And those 2 Pack 40s will remain a bit of a thorn in the side here of Skeletron unless he can clear them out again or launch a good attack on them. Cavalry rifle, they're dashing forwards. He could consider a mortar here, or maybe a Scott, but I think the way he's operating, he just wants more tanks. Going for it with the Sherman, engaging the Pack crew there, almost wiping it out there. Near ace on that Sherman. Cav rifle got wiped out. Did the Pantherguns nails another unit there for Deutschland. Panther 4 there versus Sherman. Close 52 here. Sherman backs off. Both Shermans a bit banged up here against the Krauts. Western fuel pump machines by the Pantherguns. There's actually no real action on the east side. I mean, Skeletron's just been dictating the flow of the match so well that just the entire eastern side is like, it's practically haven't seen a single German presence the entire fight. And Kawasaki commits to more Panzer Grenadiers. Good. Back here, reinforcement healing. Tanks being fixed up. He's soon able to go for another Sherman here. Meanwhile, the vehicles are busy fixing up the tanks, wishing they could get someone to help with their tank repairs. And we got telemines, 2 thumbs up. An excellent idea here versus the tanks. Particularly since Skeletron doesn't have any minesweepers. He's so caught up in the tanks, he's kindly himself vulnerable to telemines. He's starting to get a bit probing there by the Grenadiers now. Pack at the ready. First Sherman sitting out there. Oh, he cancelled the 75mm Sherman, probably for a 76mm Sherman. In which case he definitely should start going for it, or perhaps it could be Skeletron is slightly considering other moves than just more Shermans. We'll have to cause that's what it turns out to be. Pack forward from the Sherman misses though. Cavalry rapidly engaged with the Panda 4. We got close between these diving straight to the base. He wants that wipe. He wants to make Caosak bleed within his own base. He wants to show Caosak that he is not safe anywhere. There we go. Got the wipe. Panzer there pushing back the cab rifleman. We got another Sherman there for Skeletron until he called in here. In the west here we got the Sherman move there for Skeletron. Panzer goes today straight into the 5th cal and the cab rifleman. They quickly halted in their advance. He actually cancelled the Panzer Grenadiers though. Did he lose them? Okay, more Grenadiers as he suffered even further casualty here versus Caosak. After Skeletron, I mean. Second Sherman halfway done. Skeletron could still do more infantry. So yeah, these Shermans are like doing some intense work versus Caosak. Troops are taking heavy loss on the Panther 4, which does gain 82. There's some shots added. Third Sherman almost done here. Going in pretty aggressively. I mean, note the way he's positioning. He's clearly like hoping to, like, you know, have Caosak or extend and then sort of swoop in with the tanks from other angles where Caosak is not ready. So that's pretty devious here, I think, by the Skeletron. Pretty devious. Third cavalry squad ready. Pack opening up the Sherman on the west, though. Pioneer there versus the cavalry. Got 126 with 398. Skeletron is definitely close at this point to snuffing out Caosak by just victory points. Sturmgeschütz 3 Ausfallgear there for Caosak. 2 thumbs up. He realizes when the going gets tough, call in the Stooks. Cavalry got to wiped out again. Caosak, Skeletron's infantry preservation definitely has some issues. Like, he's definitely very aggressive, and again, he's clearly working to get up that high, but I think he could perform better if he maybe preserved his infantry. There you go. He lost his ace Sherman. A great kill here for Caosak. Removes a massive thorn in his side. A massive problem there. Still, in with those losses, Skeletron just keeps the attack. The diving with the Sherman subsoil angles, engaging the Panther. Shots punching through the armor. No coverage here from the Sun gun there of Skeletron's tankers. Pack 40 wiped out there. Almost got another Sherman. He's still far from away. 2 Sherman to get out. 1 Panther 4 here. And a pack, I guess. Shot bounced there. Almost got both packs here. Could try and run away with one of them. Sturmgeschütz 3 Ausfallgear ready here. Does he grab the pack? No. We got Pioneers counterattacking here. Dives over the Shermans. The Panther 4 blitzes back to base. But no! Not before he pops the satchel charge on it. Needs to retreat the troops. Oh yeah, he's going to try and catch up with them. Get some kills in. But the Panther 4 is out of the war. Artillery called in here at the entrance. Caosak's base, and we got the Stook moving in. The dives in a bit too fast here. Skeletron quickly outmaneuvers him, driving up behind the Stook, deploying smoke with the Pack 40. Skeletron is like a dervish with his tanks. A tank dancer. Almost got the Stook here. Caosak trying to get it out of there before Skeletron pops it open. Like a blister. Oh dear, got the Stook as well. The absolute inhumanity. And the Sherman, oh, gets knocked out and abandoned. And knocked out by a mortar hit. 126 with 368 here. Skeletron's forces are now fairly brutalized, but Caosak has also suffered fairly intense losses. This is definitely a bit of a crazy fight there. Major moving forwards there. Cavalry rifle on the move there. Closing on another Sherman here versus Caosak. What will Caosak go for next? Another Stook. Panzer 4. Will he somehow try and hold up for a Tiger tank? I do not know. Cavalry rifle barging on those Panzer Grenadiers. Pushing them back there with a well-applied use of force here. We've got the Ace Panzer Grenadiers with the G for the fleet. They're going to focus down anyways. And there you go. Quick retreat here. 5th cal now crewed by Caosak's Pioneers. Another problem there for Skeletron to deal with. And I imagine another one he's going to apply the same solution to, which is more tanks. Caosak going for more Panzer Grenadiers. Very good. We got 126 versus 348. And Skeletron just maintains map control just through that sheer aggressive presence. He's quite good at utilising. At this point, I think Caosak may want to use some relief infantry, but also tactical movement to try and sort of hit back at Skeletron. But there you go, another regular Sherman here for Skeletron. For freedom, for democracy. Caosak could go for another Stroke here, but part of me suspects he may go for another Panther 4 here. We'll have to see. No, he cancels the Panther Grenadiers again. He really can't seem to make up his mind there. Cavalry dispatching those pioneers with all haste and impertinence. So they called he need to treat those cavalry rapidly before they wiped out here by Caosak's 50 cal. Sherman almost done. There you go, another Sherman out of Skeletron. So many tanks unleashed upon the Germans. So many knocked out. Catching the Panthers over the camp rifle up close. Shredding there, but they ultimately getting shredded in return. And a wipe there on Skeletron. Down just 2 infantry squads and a Sherman, the ambulance, and the Major. That is a really tiny force here versus Caosak, but Skeletron is clearly undaunted. He believes. He has the spirit. He has the autographed picture of Pat. Half the Ace Panther squad, they're gone. Cut Skeletron, get vengeance for the lost men. Almost got a wipe here, almost, but there you go. Pack 40 at the ready to dispatch this lumbering steel behemoth. More cavalry from Skeletron. That's the other charge for the center, right into the 5th cal. No grenades, he can't even deploy smoke here. And even if he had grenades, he can't use it because he doesn't have the munitions for it. Caosak with another Panther versus Skeletron. At this point, it does look like Caosak is starting to stabilize more actively here versus Skeletron. Skeletron is simply just taking so many losses. But even then, like, the sheer aggressive drive is doing immense work for him. But his unit preservation definitely could do with a bit more work. That said, I think it is a testament as well to Kawasaki skills could actually manage this, because I imagine a lot of other players would have simply crumbled under these, like, you know, just titanic blows that Skeletron just keeps unleashing. And again, I suspect that's why Skeletron is so currently high ranked. It's just because, you know, a lot of players can't actually manage this level of aggression. They cannot withstand these just hammer blows. So there you go, Panther out there for Caosak. Got the cavalry coming in there. 3 kills, 4 kills. Got the Pioneers. Got Western Point being seized. Thompson's on the way there for Skeletron's cavalry rifleman. Sherman being fixed up. He's closing in on another Sherman. Meanwhile, Caosak is still some time away from any additional tanks. Whoops, sorry about that. Again, slipped the mouse there. Panther, there we go. Being caught in between the 2 cavalry rifles for the Thompson and the grease guns. 83 versus 323. Major round here. Panther on the move here. Adding that Pinelmount machine gun. Will Skeletron respond with another regular Sherman? Will he go for another 76mm Sherman here to respond to Caosak's Panzer Waffe? Well, there you go. Skeletron with a little surprise to another satchel charge there on the Panzer IV. Caught by the 5th cal. They've got the Sherman moving in there. Right into the pack there. Smoke being deployed on one, but there's still the other pack. 40 note the way Caosak ensures that, you know, the packs are spread out makes it much harder here for Skeletron, just like outmaneuver one and then deal with both of them at the same time. Got the Panther IV at the cost of a Sherman. Going for another Sherman. Again, Skeletron just keeps up the pressure. But I do think he needs to be at least a bit more cautious, or consider bringing a mortar to at least provide some smoke here, some disruption for Caosak's current line of defense here, because I think his current style of tactics is just being steadily countered here by Caosak's more in-depth defenses. That means they can absorb this style of attacks here much more efficient than the previous type of defense initially utilized on. Which is also, like, again, the most, like, common type of defense. Most people just tend to, like, have a very, you know, small but condensed, you know, defense, which is, like, theoretically hold up against, you know, shall we say, fairly shallow attacks. But the way Skeletron just keeps going for these deep punches can actually, like, outdo these kind of defenses. So Kawasaki, by splitting up his defenses more, becomes much more able to resist, again, these, you know, deeper punches. So, thumbs up to Kawasaki responding this, and again, Skeletron kind of may want to, you know, adapt to at least some degree. Push back the guns these with the cavalry rifleman. Ground these in point with the Panther Grenadier. Sherman ready. Bring up the west side here. Catching the Pioneers here and pushing them back. Panzers right in the east by all the cavalry rifles. He's got 4 squads out of them now. Effectively matching Caosak in terms of infantry. There goes Sham rolling in there. Caosak could go for Stuk, but otherwise he's definitely a bit behind on tanks right now compared to Skeletron. Who again just keeps churning him out there like he's a factory worker in Detroit, working the assembly line. Telemine there, about to be attempted, but disrupted here. Skeletron tanks moving too close. Again, grabbing the 2 peripheral victory points here. Could have closed more run soon. Got more telemines here from Caosak. Thumbs up to that. And looks like one may actually pay off. Yup. And there you go. Almost got the Sherman there with that telemine there. That's going to be the end of it with this Pack 40 shot. There we do get smoke here. Close call here. There you go. Pantherfast there could finish it off possibly. Yup. Another tank out of the war here. We got 78. There was 260, 89. Skeleton just keeps up this bleeding at Kawasaki. He just keeps up those attacks. Imagine if he actually grabbed some of those Pack 40s or at least destroyed them. I think also Skeleton definitely in a much better position than he's currently, so definitely say some of this is also to this extent self-made by Skeletron in terms of like issues, but you know, Caosak I think I had to say has also been playing quite well. Band grenade off, at least dodge the camera. I'm going for the Ace Panther is up close. Their veterans he counts for nothing. Flak Panther for Caosak. He needs to deal with an infantry, he needs to deal with it efficiently and fast, so I think an Osman here is in fact the right choice for Caosak. And Skeletron can't immediately punish him with a tank, but he is fairly close. Pushing straight for the Eastern victory. We've got 55 turning. I mean, Caosak is just narrowly holding on here. And even again, with the Skeletron, this is technically a much smaller force than Caosak. Again, the aggressive tactics are, as you can see, highly effective. Got the camera from the Panthers and the Grenadiers here, routing them. Pioneers are caught with the Cav Rifleman. Got the Osman charging in here for Caosak. Putting a jackboot here on Skeletron's neck. Osman rushing forwards here. Can't go for that Sherman. He needs the Sherman. Kawasaki down to the base here. He wants to inflict some of the harm that Skeletron's inflicted on him. He wants vengeance for all the fallen Germans. Panzers with the Cav Rifle. Got Gunners backing up here. The Pioneersmen as well there. Fresh Chiller Mines. Thumbs up there to Caosak. Sherman 1/3 of the way done here for Skeletron. We got 48 to 274 here. Charging him with the Ace Panzer Gun. There you go. Boosted by the Osman. They can keep up better pace with the retreating troops. And of course for the Flak Panther turning into them as well. There's a good chance of wiping Skeletron now. Another wipe, honestly. Starting to look like Skeletron may have hit his limit here versus Caosak. He was pretty damn close though, but I think he may have reached his limit here versus Caosak. He may have reached his limit. Sherman out there. Another Sherman. I wonder how many he went for actually. 3 with a 7, actually 7 total Shermans. 4 with a 7 family gun, 3 with a 7.62 gun. That's a lot of Shermans, by the way. That is a lot of Shermans. Sherman diving in there. Direct hit here. Again, may want to deploy some smoke when charging in like that. But he wants that Osman dead, and that seems to be his primary focus here. But again, he is disrupting, he's messing here with it. He doesn't even have the smoke actually deploy this. He can't actually assist the troops if there's the 5th kill at least. Osman racing off, Cav Rifle there pushed back. Till it caught in the center here. Sherman almost got the Osman here. Almost got it. In the center, troops are being obliterated. He's even sent in the medic. Skeletron is desperate or insane. Possibly both. Desperately insane. Or insanely desperate. Oh wait, Osman is out of the war. Another staggering blow here. But an increasingly high cost here for Skeletron. And so I think he's won one Pyrrhic victory too many here versus Caosak. And there you go. Sturmgeschoss 3 Asfingi on the way here. Caosak has now cut off Skeletron from fuel supplies, so can't use to filling the gaps with more tanks like he's previously done here versus Caosak. And Caosak with the Stuk and a lot of infantry, I think it's going to be much tougher now here for Skeletron to push off. Plus, of course, at the 50 cal. Still, wouldn't count Skeletron quite out yet, but I think for the most part, if you sort of look at the general odds and chances, I think Skeletron's ability to recover from this is very slim. Like, I think Caosak would have to commit like a major mistake and to turn this around. There you go, the Panther was just unleashing hell there into the backs of Skeletron's men. Their bung grenades off here, further loss inflicted on Skeletron. The men are dying in their droves. The Panzergrenadiers are annihilating the cavalry rifle, but themselves taking heavy losses. There goes Sherman, once more rushing in. Stuk almost done. Wipes, and even this, he once more looks to be close here. He almost got all 3 victory points again here. Could this actually be Skeletron snatching victory from the jaws of defeat here? In this case, the jaws of Kawasak's goose. Who knows? He's pursuing the Sherman, but looks like no. He may just have fallen a bit short. He's got the Stuk, then pursuit Pantherfaust and the Sherman. That's going to be in the Sherman, at which point I think Skeletron's chance of winning this are nil. One more shot from the Stuk, and that Sherman will be kaput. There go, wipe the Grenadier score before knocked out. Still, there's 2 Panzergrenadier scores left there. That's the 50 cals. There's the Stuk. You should have had a pendulum machine gun once he gets the munitions for it. There you go, catching another cavalry squad. The Panzergrenadiers are absolutely annihilating them. 44 kills here. And there you go, GG, game over. A loss for Skeletron. He finally throws in the towel and accepts he suffered too many losses. But that was an absolutely amazingly brutal match here between Caosak and Skeletron against Skeletron. To the extent we can really do just fairly aggressive tactics and some courage. Like, he dove in hard a lot of the time. Had he, I think, just managed some other elements, like, you know, using smoke bed to support the attacks, or, you know, wreck those pack 40s when he had the chance. I think Skeletron would actually had a good chance of winning this, but there's these sort of mistakes and a bit of recklessness I think it sort of caught up with him, whereas Caosak was able to maintain, I think, a cool, steady demeanor and sort of slowly push back, exploiting any mistakes Skeletron made to sort of slowly claw his way back into the match. But that was really close to time saying. I think any lesser player than Caosak would definitely have a good chance of just being completely pushed out of the match there. So hope you enjoyed this match. I hope you learned something from it, because I do think there's a lot to learn from this match. And if you did subscribe, like, share, comment, consider donating or pledge on Patreon. Links in the video description. This is Imperial Links. Cheers. Thank you for watching. We'll talk to you again for another episode. Bye.